All right. So what it took for me to bench my first 400 pounds, my first 405, bench 450 pounds, and many 405 plus benches over the past several years. So I'm gonna tell you, and I have a best bench in competition of 402 pounds. I've done 402 pounds raw bench press in a bench only meet back in 2019, and I've done that drug free. So how did I get a 4 or 5 pound drug free bench? How I get a 400 plus pound drug free bench? How I get a 450 pound drug free bench? I'll just keep it a little. I'll give you the main points. Alright, so first of all, you can't get a 4 or 5 pound, 400 pound bench without getting that 300, 315 first. So make sure you bench press 300 or 315 before you consider, okay, I'm going to get to 405. But what does it take to get to that 400, 405 bench or even 450? But let's say 405. All right, so first off, you want to slowly increase body weight. So, if anything, if you weighed a certain weight benching 315, you want to gain minimum 10 pounds between, especially naturally, you want to gain minimum 10 pounds of muscle with a little bit of it being fat, or just maybe 20 pounds, 10 to 20 pounds minimum you want to gain in body weight between your 315 and 405 bench. And if it's 10 to 20 pounds minimum you gain between 315 and 405 bench of body weight, then it has to be a slow bulk and most of it has to be muscle. Otherwise, you can even gain like upwards of 25 to maybe 50 pounds of body weight with some fat. But definitely can't be all fat because some of it has to be muscle. Because yes, mass moves mass, but muscle weighs more than fat, and muscle accounts more for heavy lifts than fat. Fat helps as a cushion and for reducing range of motion and recovery, but all really just you really just want to you want to gain more muscle than fat, or almost as much muscle as fat when you gain a lot of body weight. You don't want to gain all fat, then your lifts will not go up at all because yes, mass moves mass, but muscle really is what accounts for strength. But anyway, training wise, you want to you want to what I've done to break plateau. I've been doing high reps of bench, like adding reps to every set. Like maybe I start doing like sixes on bench, then eventually I get to 12s, and then I also have done that's this bench alone. I've also done variations of bench. One day for flat bench, another day for incline bench, another day for uh, shoulder press, whether it's standing or seated. And I treat them the same way as bench. Just get reps in, and eventually, once you peak into high reps, you want to do low reps, and just get the reps, and once you peak with the low reps after building high rep strength and building muscle and work capacity with the high reps, the low reps you build the actual strength, and then you peak, and then you get your PRs and repeat. Or you could just what else I've also done? You could do high frequency benching, where you're benching like 3 to 5 days a week, maybe even 7 days a week, or if you're crazy, multiple times a day. But the goal when you're doing that is to start light and end heavy and peak later. Because when you start light, you're actually and you're benching 5 days a week, 7 days a week, or whatever. Let's just say five. You're actually just you are giving this, you're priming the CNS to get used to benching, meaning more practice. So you're actually still getting stronger. And having more practice, meaning you're getting better at a specific lift. So you'll just have no choice but to get stronger. Or what I've done, my favorite accessories I've done to get to a 400, 405, 450 bench, 402 in the meet. I've done dips, weighted dips, weighted push-ups. I mean, not weighted dips. I haven't done weighted push-ups. I've done weighted dips. I've done weighted dips, push-ups. What else? Even handstand push-ups I've done. And incline, shoulder press. Those are really my favorite movements for getting a stronger bench. And benching itself. And this is what I've done to get my first 405 bench, actually, from 385. I've done weeks of floor press and military press. Floor press that works the top end of the bench, because floor press, you are actually bench pressing, but you're doing the top range of motion, because you're doing the actual movement, but top range of motion, the lockout. And then the shoulder press, which is another movement, another variation. And I got my first 405. I had like 250 pounds lean. No elbow wraps, nothing like that, just completely raw. But and then I bench 402 in a meet, bench 425 completely raw, pause close grip in the gym. Eventually did 450 in the gym. And with the 450, I was just doing, beside bulking up a bit, eating more food, I was also just doing low reps and sets. Like I was doing volume with 365. I eventually got to sets of like 4 sets of 3 with 365. And then I was just feeling stronger. And so that's kind of like a summary of how I was able to bench 402 in the meet, 450 in the gym, get my first 405, 100% drug free, natural. Considering I got my first 315 weighing 230. I weighed 230 and jacked to get my first 315. Got 305 weighing like 215. 230, I got my first 315. And then my first 405 weighing 250. And I have really long arms. I have a 6'8" wingspan. And I'm over 6 feet tall. I mean, I'm about 6 feet now, but I was like 6'1". So that's pretty much summary. If you have any other questions you would like me to cover, drop down below. And I offer online coaching, so check out. Check out. Just DM me the word bench if you want to also bench 400 pounds drug free in a competition, or over 400 pounds or 450 pounds in the gym like I have, drug free. Which 400 pounds is elusive bench number to get, especially drug free. It's elusive. It's an elusive number. There are a few who've done 500, but those are freaks. 600, maybe once ever. Who knows? Not many. But the ones you see getting 400 now, teenagers, number one, they're on steroids. And number two, they're using those elbow wraps, those mummified elbow wraps that could add even like, I would say, more or less 20-25% on your bench. Maybe even 15 to 25% on your bench you could add with those elbow wraps. Those elbow wraps just skyrocket how much you could really bench. Those are like knee wraps on steroids. Those elbow wraps. Do without the elbow wraps. See how much you could really bench. It's some people it's 100 pound. A lot of them it's over 100 pounds less they bench without elbow wraps. All these elbow wrap people, and even elbow sleeves. Elbow sleeves of like 10 years ago. They may add like a few reps and maybe an extra rep or two, or maybe like 10, 20, 25 pounds, but they're not nearly as strong as the elbow wraps of nowadays.